Hi everyone, welcome back to another YouTube channel. So today we are going to be doing lesson 2, data types and declarations. Earlier on, we spoke about all the introduction to what C++ comes about. Now we introduce the data types within the C++, the fundamental types such as the boolean, the character, and the integer. We'll also be introduced to declarations. We'll learn structure of declarations. We'll learn how to declare multiple names, name scopes. Data type. It refers to the various forms data can be represented in the language. It is either represented in an integer form, a string form, a float form, or a double. Categories of data type. We have the integral data type, and we have the integral and floating points, which are called arithmetic types collectively. And our integral types consist of integer, character, and boolean data types. So with the floating point also comes in two different types, which we will talk about as we go forward. Enumeration and classes are called user-defined types. Fundamental types, pointers, and references are called inbuilt. So data set, it specifies the range of values a data type is composed of. Each data type has its data set. Data set for each data type. The integer consists of whole numbers, which are both positive and negative numbers. Then we come to the float. The floating point has two types, which is both the float itself, then we have the double. The float it refers to decimal numbers with single precision, where the double refers to decimal numbers with double precision. We come to characters, which is a combination of letters, numbers, and symbols. So, with the floating point, the single precision, it is more about the number of elements it's up to, and similarly goes for the double. We come to the boolean, which is basically about the true or false. Then the string, which is a combination of characters. Then we come to data size, which specifies the amount of memory a data is allocated in a data type. Each data type has its data size. So when we take integer, it has a data size. We take float, it has a data size. And the integer data types data size is, we have 4 bytes for the integer data type. And when we come to the float also, the float has 4 bytes, the double has 8 bytes, and these bytes or these sizes, we use size of keyword to determine this sizes of each of these data types. As I said, the float has 4, the integer has 4, the double has 8, string has 32, the character has 1, and the boolean also, which is a bool, also has 1. So we can say so far the string is the data set. The string has the highest data size. The string data type has the highest data type or the largest memory allocation. So with this being said, we move forward to integer data type, which is positive and negative numbers. I've already said that. The float, which represents floating numbers or decimal numbers with precision. The floating point data has 3 main types, but basically we often talk about the 2, which is the float and the double. So the float has single precision, double precision, and the long double has extended precision. Now the boolean data type. A boolean is used to express results of logical operations. So with a boolean, it comes in either true or false form. So when a logical operation question is asked or a logical operation expression is made, the boolean gives us the result of that logical operation. Simply put, if a question is asked in the logic form, the answer you are required to give is supposed to be in the boolean form. It is known as bool. It has 2 values, that's the true and the false. The true represents 1 or yes, where the false represents 0 or no. The character data type, that's the smallest integral data type. Each character is enclosed in a single quotation mark. A blank space is a character and is written as single quotation mark on each side with nothing in it. So which means that the character is a subset of the integer data type. Yeah. So if I have a string data and a character data, the difference is a string is enclosed in double quotation, whilst a character is enclosed in a single quotation. And a noun is a string with no characters, where a string is a programmer-defined type supplied in standard library. It has sequence of 0 or more characters. Each character has relative position in string. So each character in a string data type has a position. Void, it signifies the absence of information. It's syntactically a fundamental data type. So void is also a data type, but with this data type, it's just like the noun in string. It's empty, it has nothing in it. But this time it has no quotation mark guiding it, neither in character where it has single quotation. With void it has 0 quotation mark, not single or double. Then we move ahead. Can be used only as part of a more complicated type. It is mostly used in function. So yeah, the void is mostly used in function. So we have a void function. Now we come to signed and unsigned. They are modifiers that apply primarily to integer data type. So with the unsigned and signed, which are the modifiers, they don't apply to any other data type with the exception of the integer data type. So signed can represent both positive and negative numbers as well as 0. It is used to indicate the sign of the number. With this, 0 means positive and 1 means negative. But with bool, 1 means positive and 0 means negative in bool. So you should be mindful. Then we move ahead to our next subtopic, which is the unsigned. The unsigned represents only non-negative values, that's 0 and positive values, while the sign represents all numbers negative, positive, and 0. Other fundamental types are the shorts and among others. We have the composite types, which are the pointers, the arrays, the reference, which will be dealt with as you move forward. They will be dealt with deeper as you move forward. And we have user-defined types, that's the data structures and classes. Enumeration represents a specific set of values, and declaring multiple names. It's used to declare several names in a single declaration. So with a multiple name declaration, meaning we can declare multiple names in a single declaration that we state. So assuming we are declaring an integer value, a list of integer values like int x, int y, int 2. So far as they are all integer values, you can just use int x, y, then you just go ahead and terminate it. And as you can declare multiple names at a go, it's possible, it's very possible. I have to be mindful if you are declaring they should all have the same data type. You can't mix integer with string, nor boolean, nor character, nor float. They have to have the same data type so that you don't encounter error. And as a programmer, when you encounter an error, it is your duty to be able to correct that error, because that also makes you a programmer. Because you can't tell me that you know how to write a code, and when there is an error in the code, you can't correct the code. You have to be able to correct the code, because that also makes you a programmer. A programmer isn't only about you writing the code, but you should be able to know how to correct the code. Yeah. And you can use this scenario. that you say, oh yeah, a chef who doesn't eat your own food. Like, it doesn't sound nice. So as a chef, at least you have to eat your food, the food you cook. You have to at least try it once or twice, at least. So similarly with the programmer, you have to be able to correct your own code. You don't have to always depend on others to correct your code for you. You can try your code. If it's too much or it's beyond your reach, then you solve or you seek for third parties. And sometimes some people copy codes, and when they copy the codes, they try to change some things in it, which they end up making like very big mistake. Because like you are copying your code. As you're copy the exact thing if you don't want to write your code or you find it hard to write code. But as a beginner, as myself and as others, and all those at the other end of this channel, I wish that we all learn from the very basics by knowing all these basic things about the code. Yeah. Okay, moving forward, the declaration uses comma for separation, mostly done for similar data types. As I said earlier on when I was explaining, when you're declaring maybe an integer data type, a list of integer data types, you have to make sure they are all similar. You must not mix integer with string, and you must not mix string with either boolean. If it's boolean, then you use comma to separate them. If it's string, you use string, then you use comma to also separate them as well. Scope. The scope refers to the region or context within a program where a particular name, like a variable, function, or class, is accessible and can be used. There are different types of scope, but the one we are mostly focused on is the local scope and the global scope. So the global scope is the parts that you access outside the int main, and the local scope is the one you access inside the int main. Declaration. An identifier, which is the name must be declared before being used in C++ program. It informs the compiler what kind of entity that identifier refers to, and the initialization determines the initial value of an object. So when you don't declare or initialize, your code cannot run. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in my next lesson. Bye.